Hey guys, welcome back to MJ Clark's Review Point. I am so sorry it has been weeks since I have posted anything related to reviews for any of the reviews that I usually do. I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that I have been trying to get a hold of, of course, get the hang on, and with COVID still looming around and hopefully going to be over soon, most likely after the election. But as far as it's concerned, also my old rig, my tripod setup, my attachments tipped over, snapped, broke. So I didn't have time to replace them like I planned to when I thought I was going to, and so I finally did. But as far as it's concerned, I am back now. Today we are going to be reviewing Devil All the Time. This just dropped on Netflix literally a few days ago. It did have a limited release in theaters on September 11th earlier this month. Of course, limited being that they are still allowing people in theaters now, but at a sort of, somewhat, controlled capacity. It's not like they're going to let 300 people into a theater at one time. But then it's gone over to Netflix. Now, this movie was directed by Anthony Campos. Okay, and he is not a big name director. He's sort of new. Nothing that he's done in recent years is of, at least I would say, more mainstream note. Nothing that I have seen for sure, according to the filmography of his that I did look at. But this movie does, in fact, star quite an array of people. In fact, I'm very surprised that a director is, I guess you'd say, new or fresh as him, got to helm a film with this many names. We're talking Tom Holland, who's Spider-Man right now, Robert Pattinson, who's Batman right now, Sebastian Stan, who is the Winter Soldier in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Bill Skarsgård, who is It. So, this has got quite a lot of people in it, including the actor who plays Dudley in Harry Potter, and so many other people you've definitely seen. Now, this movie, I'm going to try to spoil as little as possible if I can just avoid spoilers at all. First things first. The set design, the movie score, the cinematography, and just the beautiful costume design, the overall period piece of this, of course, this film taking place between, I believe, 1953 and 1965, and the movie itself running right at about, I think, 2 hours and 18 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was very, for a thriller, a mystery thriller, incredibly violent, visceral, and very just jarring at times, beautiful, just beautiful to look at. A lot of beautiful, kind of brownish to grained textures to really get across that old school 1950s Southern-esque vibe to it. Now, the thing about this movie that I really liked first and foremost was its ability to really just, the whole movie, just make me think. As a person myself who grew up in a hardcore, Christian environment. Nothing wrong with that, of course. I'm not really hardcore at all anymore, about it. But I did go to a Christian private school. I did grow up in a Christian church, every day. The youth groups, the young adults groups, the missions trips, all that good stuff. And so watching this was a movie that I thought would be very interesting to me because it is somewhat of a study in and of itself of how religion affects people in different ways. How it can affect and take a non-religious person and give them all the reasons that they push away from it to begin with. And then it can also take that person who is on the right track with their soul and their spirit and religion and why they love it so much, and it can show you why it's beautiful, but at the same time show you how someone is willing to manipulate that and take that and use it against you. And then someone who itself in the center is a person who is meant to be this, mouthpiece of God, a preacher, a priest, or whatever, and how he is supposed to bestow upon you the words of God and be used as a mouthpiece, and how if the wrong person is the mouthpiece, how they can completely destroy lives and pervert everything you think you know and love about the very religion in which you hold so precious and dear. I thought this movie did a great job of that. It has an array of characters, of course Tom Holland being the main character playing Arvin, and he essentially goes through his life. He gets to the point in the movie where he is a teenager, and that is his mainstay in the movie, but he comes from a background of just a lot of death and horrible, dark things that he had to see as a child, brought upon him by his father, who wasn't a bad man by any means. The movie opens up with his father, played by Bill Skarsgård, returning from war, Vietnam, I believe. But he saw so many things over there that completely warped him. And the way that he saw religion, until he found peace with it and made a prayer garden in the woods of their backyard, where they would go and pray every day, until his wife falls incredibly sick with cancer, and he does horrible things to try to please God, to get God to heal his wife, which doesn't work. And unfortunately, he just does more horrible things, and eventually Tom Holland goes and lives with his aunt and meets his stepsister, who is a devout Christian young girl. These two are inseparable, brother and sister. He protects her. She truly believes he is this incredible human being, but he is haunted by all of the things from his childhood, and he can only see the bad and evil in the world. He has become a complete cynic. She, however, is a devout Christian and doing everything she can to be a Christian, and she is bullied for it and harassed for it, and this provokes him to let out that darker side of him, where he, of course, gets more devilish, where he lets all his rage and anger out, and he is truly not someone to be messed with when he loses his temper. He completely just beats the shit out of the boys who are tormenting this girl, and he does it. It's weird, because this movie takes an innocent boy, things that he had to encounter to sensitize him, and they pervert his way of thinking and his soul into a way where he becomes an older young man, and he handles things in ways that a protagonist usually shouldn't handle things. He is a protagonist, but at the same time, beating these boys within an inch of their life and all the atrocities he himself commits throughout the movie, and then justifies them as he had no choice, he had to do it. It was him protecting himself or protecting somebody else, or that guy was evil so I had to do it, or this guy was a horrible person so I had to. And when the way I say it, it sounds like he's just a narcissist, right? A sociopath. But when you watch the movie, you'll see what I'm saying, where part of the human hubris and mind can look at the things he did and go, yeah, I can get it. I get it. I get that. I get why you did that. But the more, I guess you could say, decent side of you is going to sit there and go, oh, wow, that's, you got some stuff to work out. And I think that's why I love this movie so much, because you have Robert Pattinson's character, who superb in this film, by the way. He is tremendous, so far removed from his days in Twilight. Can't wait to see him in Batman, and his movie with Willem Dafoe earlier this year, The Lighthouse, and Tenet with Christopher Nolan. Just tremendous performances, and he's coming into such a great actor, one of the best. And he's this like city slicker-esque Southern preacher who comes to their little small town to take over their church as the new preacher, and he is just so self-righteous and detestful. He is such a TV evangelist. It is, but he is such a horrible person, and he plays it so well. And I don't think I've ever seen him portray a villain before, or at least a detestable person. And I thought it was so interesting because he's got great chemistry with Tom Holland. And one thing with all these characters in this film that you will come to realize, people are going to exit this movie when you do not think they're going to exit this movie. Characters that are big names in this film, you're going to go, oh, okay, I guess maybe they had to film something else and they wrote it this way, or no, this movie, I can see why it drew in these big names, because the story is beautiful and heartbreaking and horrific, because it's a message that I think everybody can understand, the duality of man and especially the human condition of man when it comes to where we see ourselves in our own eyes and where we think God sees us in his eyes, and where people see us in their eyes, and how there's such a juxtaposition between right, wrong, light, dark, and then that gray area in the middle where, you know, I can toe this line, but sometimes I have to jump over here. And sometimes I have to be over here as well. And unfortunately, this movie doesn't allow you to be a person in the middle. It makes you go, they're on this side, they're on that side, and he is doing his damnedest, Tom Holland's doing his damnedest to be in the middle, because there's so much hypocrisy in this movie from these characters on purpose to show you what happens when you have someone who is such a zealot that they destroy lives by not preaching the word in a way that is healthy and meant to be heard. They take it and pervert it for their own sense of gain and self-progression and their own fucked up agendas. And then you have someone over here who is truly trying their best to walk the walk and talk the talk, but they're being used by this person over here, this zealot. And then you've got Tom Holland's character in the middle, who is just trying his damnedest. And all the other characters in the movie all have their own weird guidelines of how they view morality to themselves, what they believe to be right or wrong, that they are the hero of their own story, that they think that, and one character who we jump back and forth to with him and his wife in this film, this man believes that his only way to truly feel close to God is to commit these horrible acts against other people. This is his religion. And so it's showing you what it means to be a believer through different eyes of different people, and how everybody in the world truly is affected by religion in one way or another. And it can be good and it can be bad, or in this case, it can have horrific consequences. And all these different stories in this movie, all the characters, they all have different stories taking place at different points in the movie, all happening simultaneously. And that's a credit I have to give to this to director Campo, is that he did such a good job having all these different characters at different points in the movie that are in different states, different counties, that have nothing to do with each other sometimes, but all their stories intertwine and wrap around, and it comes full circle. And the film ends with you sitting there wondering, you went through all of that, what is next? And or where can a person's story go from here? Is there anything after? And I think that was one of the things that I liked the most about the movie, is that much like religion, the question of religion is what comes after life. This movie ended in a way that made me sit there and think, is it really as simple as closing your eyes and credits? What comes next? All in all, I think this movie was remarkably well made, tremendously well acted. I am going to give Devil All the Time A-. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video and coming to this channel. We are so small. I'm trying to grow, and the best things do start out very slow and in the smallest of forms, but that is okay. I'm so grateful for every single one of you subscribing. And if you are new here, if you could please like, share, and subscribe to my Twitter handles. Follow me, please. Just check in from time to time. You could share me on your Facebook. All I need is just someone to view it, watch it. What do you got to lose? You just click the subscribe button. Please leave your comments down below. What would you like me to review next? I know that Lucifer Season 5 Part A is something that I promised weeks ago that I just didn't get around to, and that will be something I do. I swear it, because I need to review it before Part B comes out. But please, by all means, tell me what you'd like to see next. Thank you so much. This has been MJ Clark's Review Channel. Take care.